Hey, fourth graders, it's Miss Bruin in the virtual lab. And during this lesson, we are going to learn how to identify reliable sources of information. During the next couple of lessons, you will research a real world example of scientific consensus on a subject of your choice. Part of that research process is knowing where to look for information that you can trust. So you might be wondering, how do we evaluate information? How do we figure out whether or not that information is reliable? How do we know whether we can trust it? In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to figure out whether or not a source has reliable information. It all starts with asking the right questions and paying attention to perspectives. When looking at a source of information, the first thing you want to do is examine the perspective. Where or who is this information coming from? Is it a company that stands to profit or make money from the information that's being told to you? Or is it more of a neutral group looking out for the people? Is it the government? I mean, most of the time we can trust the government, but sometimes even parts of our government have partnered up with corporations. So we have to be critical and ask some critical questions when we're looking at a source of information. Once you know where the information or who the information is coming from, you're going to want to ask who benefits, right? Who has something to gain from spreading this information? And who's paying the costs? Who has something to lose here? Is there information that's missing from this source? Is there something left out? Um, and is there bias in this source of information? We're going to listen to a couple of different sources of information, and we're going to try practicing how to evaluate the information that's being given to us. Are you ready? The first source of information is a salesperson from a company called Heliocentric Technologies. Now, take a listen to the information that he's giving us and try to think of some of those questions, right? We already know where the information is coming from and who the information is coming from. So start thinking about like who benefits here? Who pays the costs? And when we're done listening to the information, we'll have a little chat about whether we think this information is reliable or whether we have some problems with it.
Hello, I'm here to tell you about an exciting opportunity to switch from dirty, non renewable energy resources such as coal and oil to clean, renewable solar power. For no cost upfront, my company, Heliocentric Technologies, can put a dozen solar panels on your house. These panels will meet up to 75% of your home's energy demands. An easy payment plan will allow you to slowly pay for these panels over 10 years. You will basically make that money back in energy savings.
So I'm asking myself, is this information reliable? What are some reasons that I might be skeptical or doubtful of his script? Well, if I'm thinking about who benefits, right? He has the chance and his company has the chance to make money off of me. So that's one reason to be a bit skeptical. Who's paying the cost? Well, he says it's no cost to me now, but I would be on a payment plan. And it seems like that feels like it would be no cost to me. Like, why wouldn't I go for it? But I'm wondering, how does that payment plan compare with the energy bills that I'm paying now? And There's another thing that I have an issue with, right? It says that 75% of my home's energy demands would be covered. But I'm always asking myself, is there information I'm missing here? And it seems like I'm still wondering, where would the additional 25% of my energy come from that my home needs? These questions are helping me identify some of the cracks in the reliability of this information. Now, take a listen to this guy. He's running to become a local politician. And this was part of his speech. As you listen, make sure to think about some of the questions that will help you to figure out whether or not the information that he's giving you is reliable. Who benefits? Who has something to gain here? Who's paying the costs? Is there information that we are missing?
Hello, I'm Michael Wilcoxon, and I'm running for your town's select board, and I'd like your vote. The other candidate wants to put solar panels and wind turbines on all town owned buildings within 5 years. Now, that's a nice idea, but let's face it, the weather is too hard to predict in this area for solar and wind power to meet all your home energy needs. Coal is a reliable, time tested source of energy. My grandfather and great grandfather both worked in the coal mines, and I believe if we can restart the coal mining in this town, it will bring in money for our schools. Then down the line, we could talk about switching to wind and solar.
After you've evaluated both the salesman's pitch and the politician's speech and the information that we're getting from each source, make sure to record what bothers you about these claims or what might not be so reliable. Record it in the slideshow that comes in this lesson, or you can record it on a piece of paper or in your science notebook and turn it in to your teacher. After that, you're going to take a look at a few further questions that are asking you, which of the following do you think would be a reliable source of information for environmental costs of burning petroleum-based fuels and the benefits of nuclear power? So look at your choices carefully and ask yourself, who stands to gain? Who has something to lose here? Is this company or corporation involved in some way? Does it have some bias, either toward or against the subject? I'll see you next time when you decide on a real world subject, and it's going to be up to you to decide how reliable your sources of information are. Good luck, and I'll see you then.